Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. You guys have been requesting this video for a few days now, man. We got a video by Urinating Tree, linked to his channel in the description below, titled The Charlotte Hornets, Professional Basketball's Crying Jordan, which of course is a meme out there, right, guys? So yeah, man, we're gonna check this out. Look, this man's gonna be roasting the Charlotte Hornets. You know, I mean, as a Piston fan, I can't talk all that much, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Let's get it.
Franchise for the strong majority of their existence. Both incarnations. They are a team with no direction. They're not building for the future, yet they aren't serious playoff contenders. They just kind of there. Of forgettability. Once in a while showing up to get wrecked by real teams that aspire for more than 35 wins in a season. But
bro, I got Devontae.
Fun. I want to focus on one man in particular. The head honcho who was hyped to be North Carolina's great savior. This man was going to put the Hornets back on the map in style. Behold, the GOAT!
LeBron James, right? Where's he at?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, yes, MJ.
Behind that name.
Happy 57th birthday, by the way. Yesterday. It might be today.
Lingers on to this day. He's the gold standard that today's stars are compared to. Yes, LeBron's great and all, but could he have competed in Jordan's era, they still cry?
Yes.
And to answer that, yes, he would have. Talent plays out in any era. However, I'm not here to talk.
Well, okay, I get that, but I mean, there's certain players out there that played in the 1937s, where it's yo, they played today, you know, that's a decade ago, man. No, I'm sorry, a century ago. So yeah.
There are thousands of videos already discussing that in detail. Let's dig into his time after the hardwood. Transport yourself back to 1998. Michael Jordan is finishing up what is to be his final season in Chicago. Air Jordan has nothing to prove on the court, but a new hunger fills his belly. The executive
crossover.
Running a franchise. His airness has always felt he's been slighted by the fat cats at the top. Jerry Krause always held him back from his true potential. They wouldn't listen to his best player on personnel decisions. He felt voiceless. His ego wasn't being fed.
So he's not Le GM.
That fucking goat did nothing but take credit for his hard work. Where could his next challenge be but in this position? Truly uncharted territory. He wouldn't only prove Krause wrong, he would be better than him in every facet of his job. It would take a year, but Jordan would finally have his chance in the executive branch. The Washington Wizards. The team was awful, deep in a tank for their next savior. It was
traded ripped.
He could make the mark of a dynasty that will bring him into the halls of immortality. Of course, even the Bulls weren't built in a day, so this would take time. The Wizards were clay and he would mold them into his own image. Rod Strickland was an injured liability, so he could kindly fuck off. Christian Laettner could thrive on this team, though. The package to get him included.
Why does everybody hate that man Laettner?
But that wasn't important. Jordan
has a 30 for 30 about it.
The Wizards have won the lottery. They will get the first overall pick in the 2001 draft.
Yeah!
They take their franchise are innumerable.
What are they gonna take? What are they gonna do?
A man who would only develop into one of the greatest memes of that decade. The next picks between Tyson Chandler and Pau Gasol. He whiffed. Not that he saw.
I will say, Tyson Chandler, Pau Gasol, all great. I mean, way better, man. Pau Gasol especially. I think it was probably both Hall of Famers. But it's not he chose Kwame over, Kevin Durant, or Darko over, Dwayne Wade, or Carmelo Anthony or Chris Bosh. I'm just saying.
That coming, but the world was put into a frenzy as he would return to the court. Personally, I don't think he ever wanted to come out of retirement, but it was probably part of the
so he came out. That's how it went down.
Team operations. They help you, you help them. Even with Jordan back on the court, the Wizards still lack that complementary piece to his legend.
Yo, that's kind of cool.
There's a man who is worthy of feeding him. The price for such talent? Rep Hamilton, who would
yes,
only go on to be a key contributor to the Pistons' championship in 2004. Even with Hamilton, Washington wouldn't go anywhere. Just mediocrity. Off the court, he
best mid-range shooter of all time.
The team and the players he brought in. It was all of the ego, but with declining talent. Once he retired for the final time, the Wizards told him to leave and never return. He had felt betrayed again. He did nothing wrong in his eyes. Even though if you look at his transactions, he sucked. He tried to compete but failed miserably. He botched his draft choices. He set the team back years with his moves. He made the team about him. It was justified as he had failed as an executive, but Michael disagreed. He didn't get enough time, he thought. Not to say Washington would be smart. The Wizards would replace Air Jordan with Ernie Grunfeld, which is a punishment they would feel for 15 years. Not exactly freedom. Despite this setback, Michael wanted another chance. He was slighted in Washington.
Can't afford it if you buy the team. I'm just gonna say, hand fight if you buy the team.
New opportunity needed the guarantee wouldn't be merely used as a toy to bring fans to the arena. How about Charlotte? They're a terrible team as well. Struggling to find an identity of their own after becoming a new expansion team? It'll be like the old days with him as a Tar Heel. Number 23 coming home. People will love it. A face like Michael will only bring attention to this franchise. This time, though, he'll become an owner.
Not exactly.
He will buy a minority stake in the team on one condition. He gets complete control of basketball operations. He won't be fired like he did in Washington this time. He would get all the time he would need. They had the 3rd overall pick to play with in 2006. Another chance at molding the clay. Who would the Bobcats pick in his first draft at the helm? Adam Morrison. He was
son of a bitch, bro. Bro, I read this dude like showered like once every 2 weeks, man. Like seriously, I remember he had like Larry Bird comparisons at the time. This dude literally showers once every 2 weeks, bro. And it's like you compared to Larry Legend like that, just because you got some floppy ass hair and you're white, you can shoot. That's really the only reason, man. Yeah, straight up, boy, one of the biggest busts in NBA history. I remember he went to like Gonzaga or something like that. I think he was pretty decent over there, no doubt. But still, Adam Morrison, complete trash.
Now, there will never be confirmation if Jordan had any say in who was drafted that year. His power grab had just become official, and he would never dare admit he was wrong about a decision.
Oh my God.
That would only be giving Jerry Krause credibility. He still had a chip on his shoulder about that situation, you know. Him admitting fault would merely be saying that his naysayers had won. Why do you think he rarely talks about the Hornets these days?
He always wearing a flight hat.
Let me play spoiler for a second. His tenure with Charlotte has been absolutely embarrassing to claim as one's own. Are you ready for a whirlwind of awful moves? Because it's turning like one of Jordan's windmills.
Before we see those, I'm going to say the worst one is that he refused to give Kemba Walker a good contract because he didn't think Kemba Walker was like that special. Like he pretty much said that. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to pay him a max contract player because he don't play hard enough or something like that. I don't know, man. It seems like Jordan kind of gets in his own way.
Years upon years of bad trades and bad drafting. In 2008, Charlotte would pick DJ Augustine with the 9th pick.
Hey, not bad.
Who was
Decent.
selected immediately after? Brook Lopez. 3 years later, they would want a franchise-altering center. They would move heaven and earth, including Steven Jackson and Sean Livingston, to move up to select one man. Bismack Biyombo. He sucked.
Hey, bitch-ass contract Biyombo.
The first-round pick they also gave up for such a prize? Tobias Harris. The next year, they were awful but lost the lottery to New Orleans. With the second overall pick, they'd select Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who would develop into nothing. What did they pass up on? Shot. Bradley Beal. In 2015, the Boston Celtics were desperate to get their hands on Justice Winslow. They would offer Charlotte 4 first-round picks to select them 9th.
Damn!
This possibly included first-round choices from the
man.
Brooklyn Nets. And those could be potential lottery picks. But Jordan personally would refuse such an offer. Who did they hold out for? Frank Kaminsky, who would unsurprisingly do nothing in Charlotte.
Frank the freaking
2017
tank, man.
had the same thing happen. Head coach Steve Clifford was begging them to pick a budding prospect, but they...
That man had an afro before he started coaching that team, by the way, guys. Look it up. Look up Steve Clifford's afro. Lost all his damage from the stress.
Instead. Who did Clifford pound the pavement for? Donovan Mitchell. How about the year before, where they traded a late first-rounder for Marco Bellinelli? He'd be gone in a year, but who would they have picked if they didn't get him? Pascal Siakam. Not so easy, is it, Michael? Wait, I'm being too judgmental. What about his decisions away from the draft? How about trading assets, including a first-round pick in 2014 for Tyrese Thomas? Decent backup big man.
Yeah, he was a beast in 2K.
Not a big deal, you say, but what ended up becoming of that pick? Yusuf Nurkic. How about trading Corey McGetty for Ben Gordon in a first-round pick that same year? Charlotte even got an earlier pick than the one they traded to Chicago. They pissed it away on Noah Vonleh. Gerald Wallace was good for a bit, before he was traded for a mere pittance of his talent. Remember when they brought in Dwight Howard, and then realized he was a cancer and traded him away for an anchor?
Oh, Dwight was fine. Like, that's the thing, like Dwight got, like, roasted a lot, but, like, every year he played, except for, like, the 7 games I watched him, like, he was a fine player.
Marvin Williams is decent,
he was
so why
okay.
not grossly overpay him to force him to stay in this hellhole? It's at this point where one would suspect that Jordan is afraid of failure. He doesn't want to tank, even though his efforts have mostly failed miserably to this point, because he still has to prove that he's better than Jerry Krause. Look at the 2016 NBA free agent class. The salary cap is rising exponentially. Despite everyone playing eons over their heads and making the playoffs, it would be wise for the Hornets to sit this one out. Even if Nick Batum had a solid year in Charlotte, he would be grossly overpaid on the market like everyone else.
Yeah, that was one of the worst contracts of all time.
Make them a true contender. Hold on, just give me 1 second.
I'm about to bust. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. Oh, good Lord.
Yo!
$4 million a year.
God damn!
No, look, I'm not saying Batum is a scrub. He's a decent role player and swing.
The contract made him a scrub.
But you overpaid him by at least $10 million per year. You gave him as big of a contract as Harrison Barnes. And that guy was a key contributor to a championship team.
I mean, Harrison Barnes, you know, I don't exactly think deserve all that money either.
Supposed to be shocked that his career year was just that, an abnormality. Batum hasn't just flopped, he's become a black
hole, to Portland,
which is an unbelievably terrible investment for what is a budget that most businesses would dream for. Don't even ask how he's doing this year, it'll have you begging for NFL-style deals. This leads to the current situation where the Hornets are locked into a bevy of awful contracts, including that of Kit Gilchrist, the second coming of Bismack Biyombo,
they got Devontae,
Tyler Zeller, and one Nick Batum. Who does this end up hurting? Kemba Walker. You don't think he's good enough to be the face of your franchise, even though he's been that for years. The Hornets stumbled onto him at the draft and have been reaping the rewards of wasting his talent. He's carried this team through thick and thin, and you rewarded him by insulting his very being. Kemba's been the best player this
60 million
less.
Has ever had.
And you fucking lowballed. Am I supposed to be surprised that he went to a team that appreciated his services? You lost him for next to nothing. You'd think that the Hornets would try to reassess their situation, perhaps tank for a chance at a top draft pick, but you don't know Michael. He's afraid of failure. He wants a piece of flesh in return for Kemba. How about a downgrade in Terry Rozier and an overpayment? Look, Charlotte, they won in the end. Aren't you excited?
He's playing better than I thought.
Basketball? You aren't? Oh, you should be with being locked into those terrible deals they've signed. Now, here's the one thing I have never understood about this whole situation. As a player, Michael Jordan was about greatness. He never settled on anything less than the best for both himself and his teammates. His drive and hunger were legendary. Nowadays, as an owner, he's grown eager to suck on mediocrity's complacent teat. It's not just that he drafts and develops poorly, but like his gambling habit, he triples down on these terrible players and locks them into gross overpayments. He builds the Hornets to be competitive, not a true contender. A perennial 10th place finish in a weak Eastern Conference.
Yo, he just chilling, I think, having fun.
Legacy has fallen too. He's afraid to suck, so he's settling for being forgettable. His time as an executive has flopped harder than his stint in baseball. At least that was temporary. Just like in Birmingham, all he does is strike out. And he will continue to for the foreseeable future. Jerry Krause only laughs up above at his inability to convert his skills to this level. One more thing, LeBron, I hope you're paying attention because this is your future.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to say straight up, guys, I just think that sometimes these, you know, alpha male personalities like MJ had, obviously, throughout his career, this competitiveness, it leads to bad tendencies in management because, like, sometimes you get so tunnel vision just because you want to be, like, great and everything like that you can't, you know, you don't think for a second there's something wrong that you're doing. So eventually it just leads to a whole bunch of bad choices. Yeah, man, I don't know. I like Devontae Graham. He's cool. Yep, that's it. Okay, we out.